Yeah, how's going, boys? Fucking thirsty Thursday. Better late than never, eh? I hope everyone had an amazing Australia Day. I'm so grateful for this country. You guys have been so good to me since I think I was 10 years old. I came here from New Zealand, and yous all gave me shit for being a Kiwi, but I fucking love yous. God bless yous. Thanks so much. Thanks, Australia. I had my boy in his little fucking outfit, made in Australia. So I got my little Aussie, and he's got convict ancestry. So, like, fuck anyone who hates Australia Day, because that little, you know what I mean? That's such as life. We're here now. Let's make the most of it. And so tonight we've got Tim Wilms from the Unshackled Wave. How you going, Tim?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. Good to be joining you as a regular on Thirsty Thursday now.
As a regular, Tim going to keep us in line, mate, with the brain. You'll fact check us on the spot, mate. We won't get anything past you.
If you regurgitate some fake news or some poorly labeled satire that you thought was real news, now that the Uncuggables is finished, I need something to stimulate myself on a Thursday night, and what better than Thirsty Thursday?
Bloody oath, mate. That's it. Tim's hooking in. He's getting into it. And we got Jazz is back. Mate, how you going?
Good, boys. How are you?
Excellent.
Thank you for having me on. I'll be on as a semi-regular guest just to give you boys a bit of shit every now and then. So, yeah.
I need all the bloody help I can get, mate.
Well, mate, I got to keep Tim honest. I like to keep Tim honest, so that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Tim had the bloody whip out tonight on me. He's like, right, Dusty, fucking this is how it's going. I'm like, fuck. I think the last episodes I've been like running 5 minutes late to my own show, nothing prepared, bringing randoms on the show.
Mate, I don't think people understand that the real general behind the scenes is Tim, mate. He keeps us all in line, so he fucking he controls the show. That's for sure.
Yeah. He just gives you that that look, mate, the look of love, and naughty boy.
Well, mate, I've already done it. I've already been on the end of a couple of his bloody punches. I've done 2 rounds with him, and he gave me a whooping. So I know my place.
That's it, Tim, the fucking stud, mate.
Mate, so the brawler and the brain starting next week. I think they got it confused. Tim's the brawler, I'm the brain. So.
Fuck yeah. That sounds good. When are you boys doing that? Tuesday night, was it? Or
Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Victorian time. Don't say Melbourne time because, well, you're up in the borderlands, Jared, where you've got the cops up there again on the borders, but they're from the Vic side now. So how's that been?
Mate, we have lots of people on the border, not just cops. So we have forest management, we have SES, we have fucking everybody checking permits. The other day, I had a traffic person check my license. So, yeah, it's not just police now. It's got out of control. Completely illegal, I might add. They have no authority to stop us and check our license. But, it's gone way beyond the point of it. What's legal no longer matters. It really doesn't. It's just fucking out of control.
Hard out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the control. We're lucky we only had our 3 days of lockdown and or wearing masks.
Yeah. How was that? Your new health minister, Yvette Darth, I call her Yvette Daft.
Even walking the streets with the masks on. People were driving in their car on their own with the mask on. I didn't wear a mask. I was like, fuck that. Every time I went to the shop, no one said anything to me. I was just polite. How you going, mate? Went to the post office, went to Searby, went to Coles, went to Big W. No one said a word to me. Not a word. I went to work and my boss said, we've got to wear masks. And I said, all right, well, I'll catch you tomorrow. Walked out. I drove home and then got to my front door and my boss rang me up and abused the shit out of me.
Oh, really?
No, he was all good. He's like, I think they're all a bunch of fuckheads too. You know what I mean? He was sort of, but he's like, we've got to pour concrete today. Can you please come back? And he's a top bloke. Yeah. He's a real asshole, actually. But the thing is he's kept me on through hard, through fucking slow patches. So
He's
I said,
done the right
I'll
thing.
come back to work for you. No dramas. I thought it wouldn't be a problem because I thought, I was like, fuck yes, you be right. You don't need me for the day. It was only one day. Went back. We didn't even wear the mask anyway. He just said, just fucking put it on, and everyone's just had it down here.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not pouring fucking concrete wearing a mask, man. You're
Mate,
fucking
in Queensland, it's fucking hot. It's summer.
terrible.
Yeah.
And it was like this, like I put it on, we start pouring concrete, and everyone's just fucking got the mask off. And I was like, then the boss just was like, walked away. He's like, I hadn't seen nothing. So you kind of got to play the game. There's some situations I wouldn't want to tell someone to put that job at risk. Like when you got to provide for your family, I don't know. That's like I wouldn't put the pressure on anyone. That's a hard decision to make, but you can play the game. Like put it on for 5 seconds when the boss is around, and then pull the thing off, and they're not gonna fucking give a fuck.
No, well, we know that it's not good for your health to wear the mask, for long periods of time. There's all sorts of people, all sorts of diseases people are catching from wearing the mask. So, but you are right. You see people working at Safeway, hospitality and stuff like that, and they legally have to. So, I'll never fucking put one on, but I'm in a position where I work for myself, so I don't have to. But I understand when people do have to. It's one of them things.
Have you heard that the doctor guide, Dr. Fauci in the US, he's now said that 2 masks is better than 1. Hey, why not 3?
Oh, really?
Yeah, just to make sure that no fresh air gets anywhere near your mouth and your lungs. But
did he really say that?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I got the article somewhere here.
Fuck me. 2 masks are better than 1.
Not coming up.
He wants you to double up.
Double up, mate. Double
up, mate. Double or nothing. I'm going nothing every day of the week. This Fauci he's a bad man.
Here he is here. Fucking double or nothing, boys. Fauci now pushing double mask. There was a dude on Joe Rogan I listened to the other week, and I think he was some kind of expert. Maybe he was just an investigative journalist, and he was banging on about it. I'll have to reshare it in my Telegram chat, but he was like, the thing's so small, you gotta. He's like, if you're wearing a P5 mask, he's like, yeah, it will work, but everything everyone's wearing doesn't do anything. And I think he said something like, if you breathed in a heap of look, right, you probably want to listen to the expert and listen to what he had to say. I'm pretty sure he said,
you are the expert, Dustin.
Yeah, fucking oath, mate. 2-3 beers and I'm an expert at everything,
mate. I don't doubt you.
He said some shit like, if you breathed in a lot of COVID, if you breathe it in through your mouth, it can go straight into the lungs and really fuck you up. But he's like, if you breathe through your nose, he's like, you'll naturally kind of filter it out, and you'll have
I haven't heard of that before.
Yeah, that's what he was saying on Rogan.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then he kind of said, if you wear a mask, you're like this. And he said something like, you're more likely to start breathing through your mouth.
Yeah.
And then you're actually putting yourself at more risk than fucking not wearing it and breathing through your nose. So
I watched a video today. I watched a video today on Telegram, actually, and it was a doctor. I'm not sure of his name, and he was having a vape. So he was vaping and then putting the mask on and breathing out, and the vape was coming straight through the middle of the mask.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a little bit leaked out the side, but the majority of it just went straight through. Yeah, that's fucking thick smoke. So if thick smoke can go straight through, what can a fucking airborne virus do? Yeah, like, not that I believe COVID is real. Let me get that straight. I am a COVID denier. So.
So nothing got leaked from the Chinese lab, Jazz. Nothing accidentally got leaked. It's just
they have not genetically identified the disease to this day. Like there is no genetic structure. The PCR test is known not to work. 99% of them are, failed tests. I believe I believe there's some sort of coronavirus. Of course, there's a new flu every year. But this COVID-19 that they're claiming the pandemic on, that they're trying to vaccinate us for, has not been identified genetically. So they're trying to give us a vaccine for something they haven't identified. So the vaccine is not a vaccine. You know, the vaccine is obviously something else. You see that baseball fucking player died the other day, Hank, whatever his name was. He got his second vaccine and died a couple of days later. You know, they're doing a million a week or something. It's fucking crazy. So, you know, a lot of people are in trouble. I urge people, please don't get that fucking vaccine.
Well, you're not going to get your freedom back automatically. Scott Morrison told us last week, it doesn't mean you can travel overseas. They're told over in the US, even if you've had the vaccine, you still have to social distance and wear a mask. So there's actually no benefit for taking the vaccine at this time.
No, and they're now talking about yearly vaccines. They're talking about having to do it repetitively to stay ahead of it. Like, what the fuck? Like, they're just, you know, it's absolutely crazy. I got someone said,
well, voluntary. Well, if you like getting the flu vaccine, you have to get that every year because there's a new strain of the flu every year. So they've got to update the vaccine. And, well, we now have the super strains this year, the UK variant and the South African one, and there's also a Brazilian one as well.
Yeah, they're coming from all over the place. Yeah, the rhetoric's getting, you know, it's getting old, and people are waking up. It's bullshit. You know, it's complete bullshit.
I seen who's the dude? Fucking one of the boys posted the video in the Telegram. It's that Tony. Who's the Tony bloke who always rants on? He's got like a Netflix special, motivational speaker guy.
I'm not sure.
I'll have to freaking look for his video.
Oh, no idea.
Tony Robbins. You know that dude, the motivational speaker?
Oh, of course. Yes.
He's pretty hard out. Like,
he's like the most famous motivational speaker ever.
Yeah. He's come out saying, like, he's like, oh, this is kind of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's out there fucking, he's just like, nah. I'm not.
Motivational speakers are BS as well. Like, why do you need to listen to somebody who has this hyper enthusiastic voice to motivate you?
Oh, well, I think there's some truth to it because we're built into the storytelling. Like, storytelling is built into, hardwired into our. It's in the cultural genetics part of us. It's so ancient that it's like you tell the story and you motivate people and you set the culture, you set the standard, you inspire and motivate people. You don't necessarily need the hardcore voice. Some of it can be a bit ridiculous, but
I don't mind the MMA ones. You know, you get ones where, you know, Conor McGregor's talking and they'll show him working out and training and he'll be telling you, you know, don't be a bitch. You know, David Goggins, he's a great one. David Goggins is really – so I don't mind watching things like that. You know, they pump me up.
He's got a specific skill, though.
Yeah, that's true. Well, David Goggins, have you heard of David Goggins? You'd probably know Dustin from the Joe Rogan show.
Oh, I don't know. There's that many of them come through there.
Absolute beast. So he holds the record for the most chin-ups in a 24-hour period. He ran like a 240-mile race, broke both his feet, and continued to run. He was a big fat dude who lost all his weight. He was big and fat in his 20s, and he decided, I'm going to be the fittest man in the world. Just a big fat dude, and he did. He joined the Navy SEALs and all that. And he has some very inspirational videos. He's hardcore, like he just says, like, don't be a bitch, basically. But you know, they're good if you feel like a pump up.
Yeah, PC that is. You know what I mean? Like all this, you're a fucking precious little sweetheart.
None of that.
It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, basically.
Remember Major Pain? Do you remember the movie Major Pain?
Of course, Damon Wayans.
Like, you want me to take your mind off that pain, boy? And he like fucking snap his finger.
Mate, that's a classic.
That was fucking classic, mate.
That used to be on TV back in the day, back before Netflix, when we only had 3 or 4 channels. That used to be on once every 3 or 4 months at least. Like they just played that fucking movie. There was a list of
just fucking onto it.
Yeah,
mate.
that was one of them. There was a whole list of movies. They just competitively fucking put them on. You know,
Why not? They
constantly.
were fucking good, man. They were way better than all the shit we're watching now.
Well, we only had so many of them. Like, there's only so many wholesome fucking movies. Now there's hardly a wholesome movie out there. Even the kids' movies are fucked. You know what I mean? They're all every kids' movie, every Disney movie starts with a parent dying or a fucking like everyone. There's never a Disney movie with no death. Not one. Like Moana was the best one I could find for my daughter because I like to find my daughter positive things to watch. But you know, Moana's a fucking great movie. But the whole point of it is that she's disobeying her father. Her father says, "Don't go," and she goes. Like it's teaching, you know, and these are little subliminal messages that we're drilling into our kids, you know. And
modern
fucking,
movies are full of them.
Pardon?
Modern movies are full of those subliminal messages.
Yeah, and they get into our kids. You know, you see the other day, one of the Disney producers actually said, like he tweeted or fucking one of the platforms, I don't know. He said, mega kids should be fed headfirst into wood choppers, and they made in the Disney studios made a fucking picture of a wood chopper with blood squirting out of them. You know, so that shows you what they actually feel like. You know,
it's the dude who made Beauty and the Beast.
Is that who done it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
Piece of shit. I showed my wife that, and because I often say to people, I'll just say, you know, send them things. I'll say, explain this to me. You know, if they're a lefty or they're, you know, nah. You know, they're apolitical or whatever. And I'll just say, what's that one mean? I don't bombard them with it, like maybe once a month. If you get a good one, I just say, explain that one to me, man.
Yeah. How do you justify that shit?
Yeah, it's fucked up. I was watching on Netflix, there's a show called, Stan, I think it is. I gave up on Netflix, and it's called Yellowstone. I don't know if you know it. It's like
I started
cowboy ranch, you know what I mean? They fucking got the American Indian tribal lands next door, and there's a bit of confrontation. I started watching, I was like, yeah, this is going to be good, this is going to be good. But it was quite like a moral degenerate and just disgusting after a while. After a few episodes, I'm like, you know what, I'm giving up on this thing, eh?
Yeah.
I was like, man, it didn't have to have that shit in there. Like, it was already a cool movie. There was already some cool ideas in there. They already won me over. I was like, this is fucking it, man. They got sweet guns. They're fucking riding their horses. They're having shootouts with the Indians. It's sort of modern. It's like an old story in a modern era kind of thing. And then you just like,
men.
Yeah, they're being men. It was cool.
I started watching that, so I think I've seen 2 episodes, so I don't know what happens.
Yeah, I'm 2 episodes.
I'll give it, mate. I'll give it a miss. We don't watch much TV anyway. I don't have time for it these days. We literally watch a show a night when we go, you know, before bed once the kids are down and that. And I'm watching Goldbergs at the moment. You know, that bloody 80s sitcom. It's like a half-hour bloody, you know, show about the. Fuck, it makes me laugh so much. It's my favorite show.
Mad.
It's a good family show. My daughter, because we put her to bed and then we put it on, and a lot of times she's sick, so she doesn't go straight to sleep. And she said yesterday, I lie in bed and, you know, I listen to that show, or she listens to it, you know, watch it. She laughed. So she said, can I watch it with you? And it's a wholesome show with good morals. So I said, yeah. So we sat down today and we watched a couple episodes of it. She laughed her head off. Like it's good. So yeah, fun times.
My boy's been going through he's getting a little bit reluctant to go to sleep at night now. So it's taken a fair bit to get him to fall asleep. But then when he's out. He's going for. We'll wake him up one time and like dream feed him. He'll be asleep. We'll feed him, and he's going 8 hours, man.
Beautiful.
8 hour crack.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's good for your missus too. Gives her some rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nothing. Yeah. Yeah, my first baby slept 12 hours. From the time she was born, she used to sleep fucking 12 hours. We put her down like 12 to 14 hours as a baby. Wow. My second one, she would sleep in 2 hour stints for 2 years. For 2 years. And I was working full time then, so I don't think I got up once. My missus every night, 2 hours up feeding, and it was torture. But The boy's all right now. We'll see if she's pregnant again, so we'll see what the next one's like.
Yeah, you beauty.
I'm at that stage now where if they don't go to sleep, I just kick them a couple of times and they fall asleep pretty quick.
I got this article. I can't believe this one. It's where are we? We're in. Here it is. This is the new COVID test, bro. The COVID anal swab.
Yeah.
Beijing residents, more accurate, says Chinese expert. So they want to fucking jam the old bloody up your ass.
A literal probe.
Imagine in communist, like they're like, communist China is so good, and it's like they're getting fucking sodomized by the government.
They don't do them at them booths, do they? Just walk up to that booth and bend over.
Well, I'm wondering because, well, Dan Andrews does whatever the Chinese are doing, it seems. I wonder if he's going to start introducing this, and like, how's it going to work at the drive-through testing clinics? Are you going to put your like butt cheeks out the window and them going to like swab it up? Hopefully we just get them booths, then we'll be right.
I'll be dobbing in all my mates who cough and shit, you know what I mean? They'll be like, I fucking seen him coughing, mate. And I'll help drag him up to the fucking anal swabbing clinic, you know?
Yeah, I'll sit there with the camera just taking photos as all the boys come up and spread their cheeks.
Mate, Dusty Bogan, censored.tv is just going to be me standing outside a fucking anal swab line, and I'll be like, how was that, mate? Just interviewing him, you know? There's nothing worse than having to drop your pants, bend over, and squat in front of somebody. I've had to do it multiple times in the police. One day, my brother was in, you know, he was locked up, and he had to go to the cells to go to court. So he got a little bit of tobacco, and he wound it up into a little bit of glad wrap and all that, and a little put a couple of match heads and that in there, and he put it up his bum as you do in them occasions. And he got to the cells, he got strip searched, and they strip searched him, and they turned around, they said, spread your cheeks, all right. And they said, all right, now squat and cough. He's like, fuck. And as he squat and coughed, the little packet shot straight out onto the floor. And that was it. He got buzzed straight to solitary confinement. But right as he squat, he just boom, shot straight out, landed on the floor. The cops were shocked. didn't go deep enough. Fucking hell.
Yeah. I don't know how we got there from anal swabs, but anyway, that's
I've never had a COVID test. I don't think you two have either, but I've heard stories about how when it goes up your nose, it basically pokes your brain, and then they, with it in your mouth, they basically deep throat you. So it's already a very uncomfortable test. So I'm thinking, well, the anal swab, like, it can't be any worse than the other two.
It's probably better.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the COVID test, though, for those who don't know, the COVID test, so it's a real worry. So a chick from FEMA come out, you know, she'd worked for FEMA for over 30 years and in other government departments as well. And she turned whistleblower, obviously was shut down by the multimedia. And she was saying that they've embedded nanotechnology into the test. So the test is part of the tracking and tracing for COVID. So apparently the gel that goes on the test goes.
Theories before that that they put some tracking
nanotechnology in the gel that goes into your nose. Well, whether it's true or not, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. So there's no reason for them to stick that.
I've always maintained, and I've said this to people such as Thanos, they're never going to make it as obvious as a microchip or like do some nano trick insertion. It's always going to be, well, it's quite obvious now with the New South Wales service app, where if you want to go anywhere, you have to check in with the New South Wales, they should call it the New South Wales surveillance app on your phone. And they've also have driver's licenses on those apps now. And obviously we have, it's been well documented that the big tech companies, they have all this personal data on you. It's easy for people to give up their privacy if it's dressed up as convenience. So yeah, you just scan this app everywhere. It's got all your personal information on there. It only takes like a couple of seconds and you're in. And they've actually talked about New South Wales rolling it out in in other areas, such as, well, that's how nightclub bouncers can check your ID and all that sorts of things. But they sell it as it's for your convenience, and people, especially the young ones, just eat it up.
Oh, they love it. It's so easy. Because we're currently, today was our last night operating our gym out of the Corowa RSL. So we've bought a new gym. We've actually bought 2 new gyms, but we've bought one in Corowa, so we'll be going there next week. But being at the RSL, it's the same thing. You're supposed to, scan in when you go in. Luckily, they still do have a form that you can sign, because I don't have a phone, so I can't scan in. But if I did, I wouldn't anyway. But yeah, so a lot of places in New South still do have that option, so you don't have to scan it. But they are talking about removing that, that pad there. With the RSL, it's absolutely crazy. So when you go to the RSL, you have to be a member or a guest. As a member, we get a card and we swipe in, so they know we're there. So for them to swipe in and then also have to check in on a COVID app is ridiculous. They already know who's in the building. If there's a case of COVID, everybody's checked in. They have a very good registry. So why is there a need for a government registry on top of that? It's absolutely crazy. These venues.
They should always just say, like, COVID alert, put out on the news or whatever on our website. We had a case at, this fucking pub at this time, this date. If you were there, now you know.
And if you're at the RSL, the RSL can go through.
Thing, isn't it? It's the exact same thing. It's just
100%. Well, the RSL can go through. Yeah, if they say there was something there yesterday, the RSL can go through, all right, who swiped in, who was here yesterday? And they know every member that was there. It's all in their computer. So then they can just contact them directly, There's no need for the government to be involved in that sense.
Yeah.
But they want to be involved. That's the thing. They want to there's a database of where everyone's been. And this is another thing I'm going to predict about the New South Wales surveillance app. It's going to replace their public transport cards, their Opal cards. It's called up there. That to use public transport, you have to use the Service New South Wales app, so they're able to go which stations you've been to, what's your journey, and be able to trace you through there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get connected, probably connected to your bloody Centrelink card and all this shit, or your all these, because I had to sign up for all these apps, government apps, for like is it paternity leave? Do I get paid? I got paid 2 weeks off to have time with my missus and my boy, and I had to fucking sign up to the fucking tax department and then link that to Services Australia, which is the new Centrelink thing, and I'm thinking, fucking hell. This is convenient that all this shit's been rolled out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and then they'll throw the money at you. They just want all your details first. You tell them everything, they'll give you fucking money. You know what's crazy is that the people on disability pension get paid more than anybody else on Centrelink. So say a single mother with 3 kids gets less than an average person on an alcoholic pension or a drug pension or a mental health pension, which encourages drug addicts to go for that pension. Once you get a pension too, you're on it for life. It's the highest pay. So, it's funny that they give them the most money, over single parents, all that sort of stuff. They pay them more to have a mental illness or a fucking drug addiction. I used to know someone, I was on the carnival grounds. He was literally an alcoholic who was on a pension for being sorry, boys.
Fucking not wearing any pants, bro.
Tie shorts, mate. I'm supposed to wear a Perry, but I got the tie shorts on. I've just come home from the gym. So I've been sparring all night.
I've seen him smile. Never seen him smile so big.
Yeah. So, what was I saying? I lost it.
The dole bludgers and the fucking alcohol
disability support pension.
Oh yeah. So he would literally just, before he went to a meeting, he would douse himself in vodka, walk in half pissed, and that was it. They would just smell him, kick him out of the office, and pay him a fucking $1,000 a fortnight or $1,100 a fortnight for being an alcoholic. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous that they get the most money. It encourages people to try and fucking get on the pension.
They want to, if you're on the dole, like the dole bludgers are like, yeah, just you got to fucking get on that disability pension. Like they want to move into that category, you know what I mean? And fucking any way they can scam the system to jump on the disability pension,
remember that they doubled the dole at the beginning of the pandemic. As it's now called Job Seeker, and then of course they had the Job Keeper scheme, that if your business was forced to close by the government, or eligible businesses, their employees would be getting some welfare as well. They've scaled both of them back, and Job Keeper is due to end in March, but there's all these, well, especially Labor politicians, demanding it be extended. Your Premier up there in Queensland, Anastasia Palaszczuk, was saying, oh, we need more, federal government needs to give more support to the tourism sector because it's been devastated by COVID. Well, whose fault is that? She's kept the borders closed for most of the pandemic, and she's decided today to suddenly open everything again on February the 1st. So, but yeah, she wants she wants a bailout pretty much from the federal government for her border policy.
Yeah just mate, fucking print some more money. Yeah.
Also, if you didn't close down Brisbane for 3 days, that that would have helped your economy as well.
Bloody oath. What do we got up next? There's should we move on to some Australia Day stuff? Because how was Australia Day for you boys down Melbourne?
Good, mate. So we had a good day. We went to the Melbourne Freedom Day rally parade. So I think there was about 20 of us Proud Boys that went. Good day. Yeah, all went well. Obviously, they had some problems at the Invasion Day rally earlier in the day. One of the boys, had a run-in, but I won't speak on that. But
well, all he did was basically display Australian Australian flag, or you would say Australian
and a beach ball
paraphernalia.
He's fucking having a good time, mate.
Yeah, he's just being Australian on Australia Day.
Yeah, and supposedly these Invasion Day people, they wanted to be COVID safe, and apparently, according to them, you can have thousands and thousands of people sandwiched together, but as long as you wear a mask and sanitize your hands every now and then, you're immune from the virus. I had to laugh that in Avi Yemeni's video, he's interviewing a lefty who has a mask that says "I can't breathe" on it. Yeah, of course you can't breathe because you're wearing a mask. But they violated his social, the Proud Boys' social distancing to attack him. That's not very COVID safe.
So you guys have still got restrictions down there of some kind. I don't think we have any restrictions really.
Yeah, we got 1.5 meters.
We're not going to like standing closer than 1.5 meters to somebody. Queensland still has a gathering. That's everywhere.
There's probably gathering limits. I guess I've been to a few of the Freedom Day rallies, and there's everyone there just doesn't give a fuck. So, I've been in giant crowds of people. Attention.
You're cutting up, Jared.
So we there. So, good.
Yeah, you're breaking up, bro. Getting you back.
Yeah, any good now?
Back. Yeah, yep.
What?
Here we go.
Yep. Yeah. So when we were there, we had a couple hundred people turned up to the parade, the Freedom Day parade. We had a couple thousand at the Invasion Day parade, but it was very peaceful when we rocked up being the Proud Boys. I read an article the other day from ABC News saying that it's a scary sight to see the Proud Boys walking down the street of Australia. There you go. That's right.
Yep.
And
Josh,
that's us.
He was fed fake info by the ABC host Virginia Trioli that the Proud Boys are white supremacist, anti-Semitic, and Josh Frydenberg just believed her, because the day after Australia Day is International Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is the slogan is never again. And of course, the lefties on Twitter wanted to link the Nazi Germany and the Holocaust with anyone who supports Trump. Where, to my way of thinking, the past year we've seen with the pandemic, the lockdown policies of various governments resemble the policies of Nazi Germany. Even in Germany itself, they're opening up camps to put coronavirus lawbreakers into. In the Netherlands, they've adopted Dan Andrews' curfew policy, and their police are violently attacking people breaching the curfew. Boris Johnson's government is trying to pass legislation to allow children to spy on their parents on behalf of the authorities. Which regime did that before?
Yeah, out of control.
And look, and back to the parade, we had multiple people walk up to us and say, that they felt safer with us there. Like, Avi Yemeni come, obviously he was there as well. First thing his security done was walk up and say, mate, we're glad you boys are here. We feel much safer here than we did down at the Invasion Day parade. We had old ladies with us that, and for ABC to say it's a frightening sight, we were there to protect our people. We were there to be with them, parade, and to celebrate. The police come up to us earlier in the day. Me and Kenny Hillbilly had a chat to them. They were great. They asked our plans for the day. We told them, we were marching and having a barbecue. They said no worries. They stopped the traffic for us. They allowed us through. We had no bad interactions with the police, which is great because they have been such fucking assholes in Victoria for the last 12 months. It's good to see them finally on our side. I actually had one walking next to me during the parade, and I said, mate, I'm glad to see you marching with us and against us, and he just smiled at me. So we had one copper come up and got a couple of stickers of us. He just asked that we don't record him because we're recording. He goes, we said, you want some stickers? He goes, I'd love some, just don't record it, please. So we put the cameras away, gave him some stickers. So it's, community relations in Australia with the Proud Boys and the community are fantastic. You see all this stuff in America where there's fights between Antifa and this and that. Look, we do have Antifa here, but Australians are a lot more easygoing. There's no need for any of us to fight.
And Antifa over in the US is much more violent and militant.
They need to stop.
Over here, they're basically they don't even run most of the leftist protests. It's the local far left communist groups such as the Socialist Alternative, Socialist Alliance.
So the Socialist Alliance has all the front group activist groups, and other ones pushing the free the refugees and the fucking Aboriginal deaths in custody and the Extinction Rebellion, and
and
they're
just looking for something to be upset about.
Yeah. Why, of all things, in the Melbourne CBD on Australia Day, why would you be frightened by a Proud Boy there when the warriors of the Aboriginal resistance that organised the Invasion Day event, the people attending there, and warriors of Aboriginal resistance, they've said that they hate Australia. They've said fuck everything about it. Don't forget there was that Tarnese Onus Williams in Australia Day 2018 at the Invasion Day march said fuck Australia, hope it burns to the ground. Like they're wanting everything destroyed about Australia. That's, you'd say, treason, sedition, a terrorist threat as well.
And then yet the media will side with them and show sympathy for their cause. And then you get.
I mean, the media this year have been, they've claimed that the increased attendance at Invasion Day rallies is a sign that, it's inevitable that the date will be changed. But the activists themselves, they don't even want to change the date. They want to, abolish the date. We're such a shameful nation that we don't even deserve a date. Well, they don't want Australia to exist at all. So
and last year it was strictly change the date. Yeah, there was no abolish the date last year, was there? Like, that's a new thing.
No, it's evolved over the years, but
so they just want to get rid of it. They don't want to replace it. They don't want to change it.
They'd want to get rid of Australia if they could.
Yeah. because two of the main boss at my work, he come up and he's like, "Did you go and do anything? Did you go and have a fucking protest or what?" And I was like, No, we're too busy at the pub having a good time. And he's like, "Fuck yeah, you should have been." He's like, "These bastards piss me off when they, protest against Australia Day." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And the funny thing is, this guy was banging on about how Joe Biden's going to be so good. A week ago, my boss was saying to me about Joe Biden. I said, I'm so happy Joe Biden's in. I just pretended I jumped on the bandwagon with him. Everything's going to be fucking perfect now, isn't it? And I said, I think we're all going to have every Friday off because Joe Biden's president. He's like, "No, you're fucking not, cunt." I'm like, "Yeah, every Friday, Joe Biden Day." He's like, "Oh." And then I was trying to stir him. But then luckily enough, today he's gone and ranted about how he, wants to keep Australia Day and he thinks it's all fucking stupid trying to change the date. So I was like, look, mate, a little bit of common sense in there. Still a little bit of common sense rattling around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other boss, another guy, one of the engineers, he goes, he's like, "Oh, didn't you see them all protesting?" He's like, "I think they're going to change the date. I think they'll probably change the date." And I said, "What date are we going to change it to? Do they know what date they want to change it to?" I said, maybe in 1,000 years when they decide what date they want, they decide how they're going to celebrate it or what's going to happen. And I said, it might be by the time these Aborigines decide what date they want or what they want to do.
You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't use the term collectively Aborigines because the people that organise in Invasion Day, they don't represent the Aboriginals as a collective. They claim to. There's heaps of Aboriginals who support Australia Day. And you have to remember that all of these Invasion Day rallies happen in the inner cities. The crowd is overwhelmingly white. I mean, a lot of them would probably claim that they have some drops of Aboriginal blood in them. But the places where Aborigines actually live, if there is Invasion Day rallies, they're hardly reported on. It's always Melbourne, Sydney, the places where not many Aborigines live that have these rallies. So these people live in the inner cities. They're keen to. Well, they don't despise the benefits of.
I'm pretty sure the statistics are 85% of Aboriginals who live in inner city are in mixed race relationships or marriages, have mixed race children. And I'd imagine that the majority of them would be with Europeans, you know what I mean? Yeah. So 85% of Aboriginals who live in the city, they've managed to fall in love with one of these descendants of the convicts, one of these one of the pioneers who come here, So where's all the hatred when they're sitting there like, oh, mum or dad's black and mum, one of them's white, you know what I mean? Or they stand and look at their husband or wife and it's a white person or a black fella. Where the fuck's it? Who invented this shit? Who's invented this bullshit idea? Because
mate, you don't see it. You don't see it.
We're falling in love with each other and we're getting on fine until someone invents some bullshit, you know what I mean? Creates all this drama.
Oh yeah, I grew up with a lot of abos, and one of my basically uncles, my dad's best friend, is an elder. Yeah, and there's no difference. Like I played footy with, they're just Aussies. Like I never thought of them as
more like Bogans because I was raised fairly Bogan, and me and my brothers and all my mates are pretty fucking stupid. We just do wild, dumb shit. And I know my Aboriginal mates, I'm like, they're just like us. My Aboriginal mates more around Inala, I'm like, that's me. That's that's how I grew up. That's the way I am. More so than a yuppie. You know what I mean? Yeah. More so than the upper middle class people. I'm sort of around more around the low socioeconomic people, and that's the way we roll in my family. We're kind of just a bit more chilled out. We'll have a fucking argument with each other over the kitchen table, you know, over a meal or a few too many beers, and get a little bit cheeky with each other and have a laugh. And that's what I see from my Aboriginal mates. I'm like, just like, you just roll.
All three of us were raised in a post-racial Australia, and it's only the modern cultural Marxists and those who want to destroy the West that have decided that everything is racist again. And this is why I started to get involved in, well, that's why I started the Unshackled to push back. Hang on, you're just completely rewriting the modern history of, well, not just Australia, but the West by claiming that, oh no, we didn't erase racism after all. It's all still here, and it's even worse.
Yeah, and look, I spent like nearly well over 12 months, close to 2 years, you know, out in the Aboriginal communities doing carnivals and stuff like that, like outback communities, you know, dry communities out in the middle of nowhere. And the last thing they're worried about is what day Australia Day is on. You know, like you said, they're not protesting out there. They're definitely not. They wouldn't even know what fucking date it is. Like, they're worried about living their life. You know, the kids out there, they like, absolutely, they don't go to school. They never go to fucking school. So all they do all day is play football and fight. You know, so and then the police come and they chase them around the community, try to round them up to get them to school. The kids go to school, they leave again. They got no interest. They just, you know, and that's what they want to do. That, you know, their parents let them do that, and that's what they do. But they're not. They're not protesting. They're not worried about what we're doing. You know, they're not worried about. They don't want to go to the big cities, and they don't want the big cities to come to them. They're just happy, you know, doing what they do. Some of them leave. You know, some of them go on to do other things, but a lot of them just live their life in them communities, and they're happy. You know, so. If that's what they want to do, and then we get all these fucking, you know, all these, like you said, Tim, white people at these rallies on behalf of these people that don't give a fuck that they're there on behalf of them. You know, it's craziness. It's absolute craziness. If you went out there and asked, you know, go to Woorabinda and ask, do you want us to change the date of Australia Day? They'd just tell you, we don't give a fuck, bro. Yeah, they don't care. Like, it's not there. You know, it's not a big deal. We're not living in the past.
When the initial fucking Black Lives Matter protest happened in Australia, and there was thousands of people. Protest. The one in Brisbane City in particular, like, it was
last year.
George Floyd and all this. So, like, me and my wife, we volunteered in Anala at the local youth group. I think we volunteered. It's like 2,500 hours, bro.
Yeah.
Every Friday and every second Wednesday, and just hours and hours and hours, right? And most of our kids are Aboriginal, right? And when that fucking protest happened, I had my Aboriginal mates messaging me and calling me. They're like, "Oh, brother Benny," Ben's my real name. You coming, mate? And I was like, "Dude, I'm not coming along, mate. Like, you boys know I love you guys. I'm your mate." Because the thing is, you can't do 2,500 volunteer hours, didn't get paid. I did it because I became their mates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're fucking real mates, you know, and they were young guys. I got to see them grow up. We're still mates today.
Yeah.
I care about them, and I'm like, look, boys, I know why you think you want to go. You know, I get it, and all you got is the mainstream media, and they're telling us what to think. And I'm like, you know, I care about you. They're like, yeah, they're like, absolutely. That's why they're calling me. You know, they're thinking you want to come along because they think I, you know, maybe gone out of my way to help Aboriginal people, or that I see an issue there. Not necessarily. I just volunteered in my local church, and wouldn't have mattered if they were majority Bogans or Aboriginal. Wouldn't have mattered to me. You know what I mean? It's just, that's my community, and I was volunteering. But
people are people.
It didn't matter to me. You know what I mean?
No,
so maybe
as it shouldn't.
Maybe they thought that I had some kind of thinking, but I didn't. Like, I just did it because someone volunteered and did the same for me when I was a young man. So it's like, return the favor. You know what I mean? Pass the buck on. But I told the boys, and I said, you just be fucking careful of any of these cunts. If anyone's wearing black, and I said, I'll throw a fucking rock in a shop window or do something stupid, and you buggers will be running in, and you'll be the one getting locked up while their rich fucking parents bail them out and pay their court fees, you know what I mean? And I was like, don't fucking trust these people, boys. If you're going to go find the Christians in the crowd, and I said I wouldn't be going, like.
Yeah.
But, you know, what can you do? All you can do, I really feel like, if you think there's a real problem in the indigenous community, you can't throw money at the problem. It doesn't work. All you can do, if you really care, put in a few hours and become someone's mate and, like, mentor someone. Be a good example.
100%. Yeah.
It's
What are you demanding this year at Invasion Day that every black person should get $1 million each? It's sort of a more exaggerated demand, or more extreme demand, that they had a couple of years ago, the pay the rent. And if you look at I actually wrote an article for the Unshackled a couple of years ago about this, that we've paid the rent in terms of government spending on indigenous issues easily for the past
33.4 billion a year or something, isn't it?
Yes. So I'm
and look,
sure more they want.
Like, so when you walk into their houses, because so their fridges are just used as cupboards. They don't plug them in. They don't keep fresh food. They just don't. So they get brand new fridges that they don't use. The washing machines, they generally pull apart. The dryers, they generally pull apart and use them as fire drums. Brand new. They build these new fences. They kick them down because they want the wood. They always use wood. Why the fuck don't you make a colour-bond fence? They don't. They make wood fences that they rip down and burn. They like, because they don't want the fences. They don't want the fucking fridges. They don't want the dryers. They literally run out of petrol and walk off and leave their cars there. And get them, like, that's how, like, there is cars parked on the side of the road, like out in the fucking Arnhem Land and stuff like that. There is literally cars parked there that are perfectly fine. They just ran out of petrol and left it and walked away. Brand new Commodores. They don't. A lot of them don't have a need for what we, like you said, that throwing money at them doesn't work. They don't give a fuck about our money. They're out in the middle of nowhere. What good's our money going to do?
Yeah, you're talking about certain communities there.
Yeah, well, lots of them, Tim. I went to a dozen communities, and a lot of it, like, yes, they need money to buy their essentials, but they don't put the same sort of. They're not after the same things as we are. They're not judging people by what sort of fucking watch they wear or how good their car is. That's not their goals. They're happy. They get some money. They get some money. They can buy some pot. That's it.
Fucking take that away from them, like that.
No, you wouldn't.
Free from materialistic.
It's fantastic.
We live in a country with one of the highest suicide rates on earth, and we're the heaviliest taxed, and we have the biggest government on the earth. Big fucking nana state here wanting to wipe our asses and tell us how to do everything and keep us safe. You know what I mean? PC, everything. This is fucking as bad as it gets. You talk about socialism, well, statistically, this is about as socialist as it gets on planet Earth. And we have a high suicide rate. We have a fucking high depression rate. So how is socialism and all this bullshit that they think, how's that the fucking answer? Like, the answer is community and spirituality, or community and family, like
that's it. We have the reason we're like committing suicide in this country is crazy. We have a fucking great country, you know what I mean? And not all socialist ideas are bad. I would not get rid of universal healthcare. Our healthcare system in Australia, that anybody can go to a doctor, and that's fucking amazing, bro. Imagine if you were
private. Like,
of course.
Went private for when we had our baby. My brother went private when he wanted the best spinal surgery.
I went public and got a private surgeon 6 weeks after my. So you don't have to have that. You can still get everything you need. I waited literally 6 weeks for my shoulder, Rico. In a public thing. But if you're just sick and want to go to the doctor in America, you have to have cash. You can't just walk in and see a doctor. We're here, we have, Medicare and all that stuff. So our university here, the HEX and all that, the HEX is a bit, but we can afford to go to university.
System.
I wouldn't recommend anyone go to university anymore, especially to study an arts degree.
Well, look, most kids should probably drop out of school and get a trade. Education is not for everybody. Most kids should be out by 14, 15 and working. There are some kids, you do have your outliers that will go on to university and stuff like that.
The young men or the young people who want to go into a trade, it's like they just make it harder and harder to get your driver's license. How are you going to do an apprenticeship, get a fucking job when you got to do 200 hours, 200 learner hours in a fucking car? They are fucking our country slowly now, but generally overall and until all these new legislations are coming, especially since COVID, we have I think we have the best fucking country on earth. Americans say they have the best. I think we have the best country on earth. We're safe. We're happy. We're good. We're friendly. All that sort of shit. So the semi-socialism, I don't even fucking understand socialism that properly. I'm so anti-government that fucking I don't even look into the definitions of socialism and that. As long as there's a measure of are we making sure we're getting value for money for a taxpayer's dollars? So how much waste do we?
But socialism would be, Jared, you wouldn't be able to own and operate gyms. That'll be
I know that. So I understand that. So I understand sort of national socialism and little bits I understand. Obviously you can't take anyone's fucking business. Everybody gets paid what they work. You need to work your worth. If you work harder than me, you make more money. If you, all that sort of stuff. If you own the business, you take the risk to invest to set the business up. You should get the lion's share of the money. It's, but when it comes to things like I said, universal healthcare, ambulances and shit. You shouldn't pay for a fucking ambulance. In Victoria, you pay for an ambulance. In Queensland, you don't. It's free. So the first time we went
to our rates bill because we have a Medicare levy fee in your land tax bill, essentially. It's a huge chunk of my quarterly. I pay $520 every quarter, man, just for land tax. To take wheelie bins away, and that apparently that's for my ambulance. Which is
we were in Ipswich one day. Yeah, we were in Ipswich for Ambo. We were in Ipswich one day. It's going to sound a bit harsh, but my wife got a bit dizzy and sort of fell to the ground. Didn't collapse, but sort of fell to the ground. And one of the ladies come running out of whatever shop we're in. She's like, "Oh my God, call an ambulance! Call an ambulance!" I said, "Don't you fucking call an ambulance!" I said, "Who's going to pay for that?" And she looked at me shocked, because Tim in fucking Victoria is going to cost you $1,000 to get an ambulance to come get you. She's just got heat stroke. She'll be fine in 2 minutes. And then she looked at me shocked. She's like, "You're disgusted in me." But I'm thinking, I'm not paying $2,000 because my missus had a headache. But then she said, "The ambulances are free here." I was like, "What do you mean the ambulances are free?" But ambulances should be free. It's another good thing.
It should be saying the ambulance has already been paid for.
Yeah, well, there you go. Thank you, Dusty.
Free, we have paid the fuck out of it. Me and my missus, we do our tax. We do our tax bill every financial year, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah,
they took.
There are ways. We should talk offline. We'll talk offline because there's things to do about tax to minimise that, and we'll talk offline about that, Dusty. I'll get you out of paying fucking tax. But anyway,
Jared, is that Daniel Andrews in Victoria is not socialist enough because it's a pay-per ambulance trip.
Well, well, I don't understand. Well, I don't pay tax myself, let's be honest. So I don't know how it works with with the tax bill up there, but down I think to have ambulances that people can access without getting a fucking $3,000 bill or a $2,000 bill is a good thing. Also, single mothers, like our Centrelink here needs to a bit of a reform. I mean, dole bludgers need to get a fucking job. But when it comes to single mothers and stuff, it's good that they're supported. I'd hate to see kids to go hungry because their mum has to.
I think we should be looking after. I've said to One Nation, what I've been saying to One Nation is, every kid that's born, mum should get, I reckon, $40,000 a year for the first 3 years.
Please.
Fucking hook them up. Them up. Because the first 3 years, this is where I got the idea from, but it was from Stefan Molyneux. And the idea was quality time with your primary caregiver, mum or dad, right, reduces the stress levels of the baby. So not in care, reduce the stress levels. It sets up the brain chemistry for the child, and future savings on crime, education, unemployment, all these things will should reduce.
Mega welfare like that 50 years ago. It was just that you're able to, families were able to survive on one income.
Yeah.
So you can go back to
because I'd prefer every mum to get 40 grand a year than one kid get aborted. So I just say fuck it. If they want to kill these babies, man, 40 grand a year, or 30 grand, 40 grand, give these mums. First 3 years of the kid's life, they need to be with their mum, or that, preferably mum, if not dad.
Yeah,
especially that's socialism. I'll fucking bring that socialism in, because at the moment these women are like, I'll just have an abortion, and they just kill their kid.
Or like you said, they go to work straight away. They go to work after fucking a week, and the kid gets dropped at childcare centre, and they don't pick him up for 9 hours. My missus, she worked in childcare centres and ran childcare centres for years, and she used to have in Melbourne, especially, there was one kid she looked after for 5 years, the first 5 years of her life, or 4 years it may have been. But she was literally, when it opened at 6 o'clock in the morning, the parents were waiting out the front every day, 2 Asian parents. They would not get there until they closed, I think 7 or 8. They would not get there till then. Even then, sometimes staff had to wait back for them to get there. This is Monday to Friday for 4 or 5 years. That kid did not know its fucking parents. My wife still thinks about her and talks about it like it was like a fucking, my wife was very attached, obviously, because she spent so much time with her. But there is multiple kids like that, dozens of them, and they're going to grow up with fucking all sorts of issues, and because
this is what the lefties are kind of these.
The government also subsidises childcare significantly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's better to be at home with your mum. The thing is early years, first 3 years, first 1,000 days is the best time for that kid's development and all these things. Like, I think the lefty kids are the kids who got thrown in the childcare. You know what I mean? Mum and dad. It's going like this, Tim. The kid throws a wobbly. He throws the fucking toys out of the cot, and the childcare worker at the childcare centre goes, "Oh shit, I better go stop this kid crying." And the kid has already learned to throw a tantrum because he's competing with, 5 other kids, 10 other kids. So the kid knows, if I throw a tantrum, I'll get the attention.
No, you've got that. You've got that wrong. A lot of the lefty activists, they've been raised in upper middle class families, often with a stay-at-home parent, go to private schools and that, and of course they. How do
we know that? They might have been raised with workaholic parents who are upper middle class.
I can't remember what his name is, but the poster boy for a Extinction Rebellion in Sydney. What was it? He was living at his parents' mansion up on the Sunshine Coast and just couch surfing with mates in Brisbane while he was getting arrested and bailed out at all these Extinction Rebellion protests where they superglued themselves onto the road and that. And Palaszczuk hardly did much back then, as you will recall. Oh, sorry, I should say Palaszczuk.
Yeah. Well, I believe, there's truth to what you're saying, Tim, you know what I mean? And I get it. The rich kids out there, and they want to, virtue signal their fucking bullshit, they're living off mum and dad, and they fucking get everything handed to them on a silver platter, and they want to tell us, commoners, us fucking working class bogans, and they want to, talk down to us. They look their nose down to us. There is that element to this thing, you know what I mean? And I see it like with this Invasion Day bullshit, right? Or the Aboriginal stuff. And I've got white mates of ours, and my missus said, "Oh, did you know so-and-so posted it solidarity with Indigenous people on Australia Day. Like all these posts from other mates of ours, women, Karens, right, posting about Australia Day, anti-Australia Day shit, white women. And I just thought to myself, like, pretty sure when this is what I said to my missus. I remember when we were volunteering in Inala with all them Aboriginal kids and would go for a fucking barbecue invited to one of their nice dinners, and they'd say, what have you guys been up to? Oh, we just came from Inala volunteering with our Aboriginal kid. We just caught the train out from Ipswich, and they'd look down their nose at us because these white Karens will not be caught dead in Inala or in fucking Ipswich or catching a fucking public transport, and they virtue signal how they care about Aboriginals on Australia Day, and they would not fucking come volunteer an hour of their time, nor would they catch a fucking train out here in Ipswich, nor would they fucking walk shoulder to shoulder with these people. It's all bullshit.
Well, like I said, a lot of it's not, a lot of these people that are protesting aren't protesting on behalf of their people. They're protesting for themselves. They're virtual signaling. So they want the recognition. They don't give a fuck about the result. They just want to be known that I was there, I done something. Yeah. They're not actually after change. They just want to fucking protest and create a muck. It's ridiculous. It's, they're self-serving, and at the end of the day, people like that will always be born undone. That's why, when we go out and protest or we go to an event, we went to Australia Day, we're there because we care. We're not there. We're not there to virtual. We're not there for attention. We're not there for any notoriety. We're there because we love Australia, and that's why we're there. So yeah.
I reckon this is the thing about us too, right? We'll be there. We'll stand up for Australia Day. But I'm not going to go sling shit on an Aboriginal. You know what I mean?
No.
I'm not going to sling shit on one of my Aboriginal mates. You know
what
I mean?
I don't even care. I don't even care that they have an Invasion Day rally, to be honest. Like, I don't give a fuck. If that's what they want to do it. Like, I'm not for them changing the date, and I'll fight for that.
Yeah.
But I have, hey?
Yeah, the date shouldn't be changed, and you should be allowed, if you're allowed free speech and assembly, to say that Australia Day is Invasion Day, you should also have that free speech to say that I love Australia, I love Australia Day, and not be attacked for it and have to be removed by police for your own protection.
That's right. And look, we seen plenty of the Invasion Day people walking past, one out and stuff like that. Actually seen one bloke, he walked up, he seen there was a group of 20 Proud Boys standing there, he crossed the road and fucking darted up a hill. But there was no reason to, you know what I mean? We have we're not mouthing off at anybody. We're not insulting anybody for what they believe. We don't give a fuck. If they want to come up and talk to us, they're more than welcome. If they want to walk through, like we said, one of the boys went and put an Australian flag on and they all jumped on him and ripped him apart. If someone had walked into the middle of our parade and put on an Aboriginal flag and said, I don't like Australian Day, no one would have said a fucking word, man. They would have patted him on the back and said, come on, buddy, let's march. Like, no one's going to attack him. It's not, you know what I mean? Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If he walked up and slapped me, different story. But, if he just walks up and just wants his fuck, all for it, Anybody
you can have a say to him and say, hey, mate, we're here because we love Australia Day.
Yeah.
Come spend 10 minutes with us.
Yeah. Mate,
it's not worth the waste of your time to try that outreach.
Probably
because
not.
Hate you.
But just say, mate, let's go have a beer and talk about the fucking weather or the football. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to all be, bad. Like, everybody gets along at most of the time. It's just these little things that cause division that are bullshit.
Some of the lefties, I get what we're saying here, and you want to give them a fair go. I've had mates who are left wing as fuck, right?
Yeah.
And I do have a habit of bringing, say if I have a barbecue at mine or we have a fucking Proud Boy meet, and I have habits of bringing my mates from school. I'll bring a few mates from school, a few mates from church or whatever, workmates, you know what I mean? I'll just be like, just come have a beer. And then they get to know my mates and what the fuck we're doing and who people are. I've had lefty mates who have come, right, to multiple Proud Boy meets. Multiple.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've seen black Proud Boys, gay Proud Boys, a fucking vegan Proud Boy. They've seen white Proud Boy who's in a mixed race relationship with mixed race children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've seen that lefty friend who's come to multiple Proud Boy events, then post shit on Facebook and say the Proud Boys are Nazis.
Really?
And I've messaged him and said, brother, you come to my house. You know.
Yeah. You know my mate. Yeah.
What are you like? He's sat there and said his lefty shit and to us boys, and we're having a beer and we'll crack a joke and we'll have a laugh and we don't bite and we're just like, yeah, dude, no.
Modern regressive left to them. Anyone who's to the right of Malcolm Turnbull is a far right extremist, and or if you're in any sort of pro Australia group, they deem you a Nazi.
Yeah, it's a fucking and Nazi. The word Nazi doesn't even mean anything anymore. You know, when I seen them talk, when I seen them calling Enrique,
still legit like Nazis that are around, but the thing is, they're open about it.
Yeah. And the word Nazi as an insult means nothing. It's thrown around so loosely. You know, people are Nazis, obviously they're Nazis, but to call someone a Nazi means that. Enrique, you know, everyone knows Enrique is the chairman of the Proud Boys internationally. He's a fucking Cuban, you know, half Cuban, half American. He's fucking black. You know, I watched him in an interview. Well, he's brown, but he's black. You know what I mean? He's not fucking white. And someone walked up to him in an interview and said, oh, you know, you've got white privilege. And he looked at him shocked. He said, oh, but I'm not white. They said, oh, but you grew up with white privilege. He's like, how the fuck do you figure that? And then as he's walking through, there's people calling him a Nazi. The motherfucker is black.
Even Harvey Yemeni, we've seen time and time again. Harvey Yemeni, a Jew, like
he was called a Nazi yesterday on Tuesday.
Dude, you'll see the fucking Proud Boys Israel, mate. The Proud Boy Israel chapter. You could fucking. I've had him in my chat, bro. I've had a lefties in my chat, and Proud Boy, American Proud Boy, who you know will go from New York and go back to Israel, and he's like, yeah, when I'm in Israel, I'll have a beer with the Proud Boys Israel chapter or Tel Aviv chapter, and then I'm back in my fucking New York chapter. Yeah, and you'll see the lefty. I've had opened my chat up and have lefties in my Telegram chat. And they'll be talking to the Jew. They'll be talking to him. They won't even fucking. They're like, oh, you're Nazis. You're a race. You hate Jews. And the Jewish Proud Boy be like, I just came from a month ago. I was in Tel Aviv having a beer with the Israeli Proud Boys chapter. What do you want me to say to you?
Yeah. What else can you say, mate? That you can't talk to these people. We actually back to Tuesday again, and when everybody had sort of dispersed to start the march, I was standing there with a few of the boys, me, Jimmy Hitter, bloody his wife. I think Versace may have been there too, and we had this little Chinese man walk up to us, tiny little John. He goes, "Oh, you're with Proud Boys. You're with Proud Boys." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "You same as America?" We're like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, America, very bad reputation." He goes, "You good boys, you very good boys." And we sat there and we gave him a pat on the back and had a chat to him. And we're like, yeah, mate, you know, and we told him, we explained to him, look, the media portrays this as bad, but, you know, we're really not like that. And it was a great conversation, you know. He actually said, Jimmy Hitter, his missus is Maori, you know, and she actually said, oh, you Kiwi. Most people don't pick her as Kiwi, so she was rapt that, you know, that he picked her out as a Kiwi. But, yeah, you know, they call us racist. We got Maoris with us, with absolute craziness. But it was good to see this, you know, because we were there supporting everyone. It was good to have this little fella come up, and there was about 4 of us standing there, and his tiny walked up and had the confidence to say, how, you know, happy to see.
And this is the thing. This is the thing about the Proud Boys, but it's like you'll have a Aboriginal or a Maori Proud Boy or a gay Proud Boy, and yeah, we're more conservative. We're nationalistic. We're proud of this nation. We don't want open borders. We want family values. We want to be free. We want to be able to make our own money. We don't like the PC bullshit. So it's like, see, if you hold these, you know, normal opinions, it doesn't matter. You could be as black as you could be a gay, transgender, black as the ace of spades, and they will fucking call you a Nazi. So I just want to let you know. Like, you know what I mean? Because I've got plenty of mates out there who are, say, my Aboriginal mates. I was volunteering for One Nation, and I was standing there with the Greens and the Labor Party and the candidate, and I'm standing there handing out how to vote cards for One Nation, and all the fucking Africans are like, "Hey, Ben, how you going?" They're like, and the Greens and the Labor guys are like, "How do you know them?" "Oh, I used to drive the church bus. I used to pick him up and his family." "Oh, Aboriginal family walks in. Oh, Ben, thanks, mate. Oh, we'll be voting for Pauline." And the greenies and the lefties are shocked because every fucking One Nation supporters are racist. But all these Africans and bloody Aboriginals who are like, I was like, here's the right to life policy for One Nation. We're Christians. Don't vote for these people who want late term abortion. And the Africans and the Aboriginal people are like, I don't want nothing to do with that shit. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Well, and it's good to it's good to see that people are starting to wake up. Because they throw the term around so much, people are starting to wake up to it. So hopefully, as we go forward, especially with the Proud Boys, it's getting the way that
turn on them. Like they will turn on them. Like we're the canary in the coal mine. We're the canary in the coal mine, bro. And wait until there's like an African church who are like, we do not like these values. We have our traditional values. And we'll be like, and they'll be like, called Nazis. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
called Nazis. Next.
So I started going back to church. I've been to church for the last 4 weeks actually.
Right.
So, don't know what made me go. Probably being surrounded by Christians. The fact I used to be a Christian. What really freaks me out is this fucking vaccine and the Book of Revelation. So the Book of Revelations, I've never got over the mark of the beast. I'm starting to believe the mark of the beast is going to be this vaccine. You know what I mean? So, but I've started going back to church, and the church I go to, Gateway Church in Lavington here in Albury, fucking great church. Pastor, very good fella, but it's a big African community. So last year they started to expand their church. They had 2 locations, one here, one in Jindera, just up the road. They started to spread around. So they've started 11 churches in Africa. So all over, fantastic. And they support them. They stream all their things live. And now, so I'm an ambassador for a Stronger Lifestyle Foundation that runs kids programs. The kids make art and craft things, generate money, sell them to the community, and all that money is donated to the church, which then goes over to an African church. And we've cut a deal so that there's no administration fees. Every dollar we make actually goes to providing food for these African kids in these villages. But I've been going to church, and last week I won my Perry to church. So I officially become the Borderland president last week. I got jumped in and got my 2nd degree, so our chapter's fully autonomous now. So it was my 2nd day with my Perry, so I had to fucking wear it. You know what I mean? Like, just got the motherfucker. So I wore it down to church. And they know who we are and all that sort of stuff. And there's full of Africans. We had an African choir that day. There was about 8 of them that were up and singing, in the choir. Africans gave the sermon before the pastor, and we loved it. My wife sat there in the kids' room, and she literally, and again Jimmy Hitters, Mrs. Crystal, both sat out the kids' room, and literally my wife had about 7 little African girls around her braiding her hair for the whole service. So by the time we left, my missus' hair was all braided, plaited, tied in. It was fucking beautiful. They'd done a really good job. And she sat there talking to them. It's funny. One of the girls said to her, she said, "Why are your eyes blue?" Because they're straight from Africa, a lot of them. And she goes, my wife's like, a lot of them said blue eyes. Then she starts rubbing my wife's lips. She goes, "Why are your lips so small?" My wife just laughed, like these African kids. But it shows, the way we're portrayed between what we see in the community is not like that. Like no one looked at me funny for being a Proud Boy or wearing a Perry or anything like that. Like I said, we're in church. We're part of the bloody community. So it was fucking great. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I had African dudes in church who would just be like, the best thing about them, look, there's a part of African American culture that I hate. which is the gang culture where they just fucking murder each other and treat. I grew up listening to this rap music and idolizing these dudes, me and all my mates, and it's fucking shit. It is a shit culture, and
100%.
I will fucking never apologize to say that is just, it's just fucking retarded.
Yeah,
and
it's animalistic, bro.
To do with that African American gang culture, and neither do any of the Africans I go to church with. They're fucking just as disgusted as I am, and they don't want their kids having anything to do with that shit. And I think the African American gang culture is just fucking retarded. And get the African Christians and let's fucking keep them safe away from that African American gang culture, because it's just fucking disgusting. And like when I was a youth leader, I'd tell the boys straight. I'd be like, this is what I used to say, Jazz, right? I'd be like, oh, fucking, you know, Snoop Dogg, fucking cool as, bro. He just fucking cheated on his mate's girlfriend. You know, fucking Tupac just shot his fucking mate in the back, you know? Fucking cool, man. Fucking, that's so fucking cool. This fucking rapper stole this and fucking joyrided this car and fucking all this, mate. I said, oh, it's so cool. In fucking 6 months, brother, in 12 months' time, it's going to be cool to suck dicks and be a faggot. Are you boys going to be fucking doing that too? And they'll be like, following the trend. But like, you know, if you want to be fucking cool, mate, they're just a bunch of retards.
Well, institutionalized our whole generation, Dusty. So how old are you?
33.
See, I'm 34, so I grew up the same thing. Tupac, Snoop, Ghetto Boys, Dr. Dre, all that sort of stuff. I still love rap music to this day. Actually recording a song myself tomorrow. But, you know, the fact, like, have you heard of Tom McDonald?
No.
Yeah, Tom McDonald. I have, because, you wrote an article about him for the Unshackled, and I started to check out his music. He's the anti-globalist rapper. And
what do you think of him, Tim?
Well, I'm not a big into rap music, but I admire not just his courage, but his work ethic, because he bloody does everything himself, from the mixing and doing the music videos and that, and he's always doing bloody lives on Facebook.
And he actually makes his own CDs, packs them all himself, signs every copy, stacks them up and sends them out personally. He's absolutely amazing. But you should listen to him, Dusty, because I wrote an article saying that Tom McDonald is the greatest rapper of all time, and should be, you know, that he's underrated, and that, you know, people need to start listening to him. You know, he's literally taking on the government. He has a song called Dear Rappers that's all about how he will never rap like them, about how they're promoting kids to take Xanax and stuff like that. So there's this new level of conscious rap starting to come out, which is fucking fantastic. It's really good.
Like, I'll back it all day, man.
It's really good music too. Good beats, good rhymes. He's woke, you know, and he's not soft, you know, any of that. He's definitely a marketing gimmick, you know. He's tats on his face,
but like fucking DMX, and he's like, "Oh, give me a sign." He was a fucking Christian dude. He was the biggest rapper out, and then it was just like they fucking crush him, push him out of the way, bring in more shit. Well, they actually let the guy who's singing Christian stuff and doing rap music that was good and decent and inspiring and encouraging, gonna fucking get these kids out of the shit, you know.
Well, in the interview, DMX actually said that they tried to get him to join the Illuminati. So he was offered into a group. This is his words, and he refused. He said that when he went Christian, he said that he met the devil, and he said the devil was in the music industry, and that's when he retired. He said, "I'll never rap, I'll never do a show again." Since then, he's actually started doing shows again. But at the time, he said it was because he actually said the Illuminati tried to get me, and I knocked him back. Same as Cat Williams said the same thing. You know, he was a very famous comedian.
Jackson said the same thing, dude. He was like, as soon as they signed him to MTV, it was like Thriller came out, and they just poisoned his music, and it was all this subliminal messaging, and they just fucked the whole thing.
Bro, do me a favor tonight. Once we finish, get on and check out Tom McDonald. Have a listen to his lyrics. I think you'll really like it, man. Start with like music industry or something like that, but it's very good. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
There's on the Unshackled Entropy, because we're also streaming to the Unshackled YouTube channel Thursday. There's a troll super chat from Senator Slayer for $3 Australian. He says that Tom Sawyer did nothing wrong and he should be praised as our leader, Uncle Adolf. Yeah, nah. Tom Sawyer's doing lots of things wrong, and I don't think you should be posting that, Senator Slayer, even if it's a troll.
Nah,
We're on our last.
Read a post whatever he likes. That man's mate, that man's done enough for this country. He has time and time again stood at the front line and been persecuted more than any other fucking Australian, I'd say. So, if there's a patriot out there that does not respect the Senator Slayer, they can get fucked. That man has done his job.
I've always liked Neil, how he confronted them corrupt churches and went straight in there. Every time. I didn't know much about him. I think he door knocked Dave Pallo's house, and I was real good mates with Dave Pallo, and I was like, oh fuck, who is this cunt? And then I looked him up, and I was like, how can I not like this dude? Like, you know what I mean? I sort of between Dave Pallo, who I really like, who kind of helped me get started. Same with Tim, also helped me get the ball rolling. And then I was like, fuck, who's this Neil cunt? But then I'm like, hey, I was like, I would be doing what he's doing, but I got to see how they will fucking destroy you and lay the shit on you.
Yeah.
Like, no end if you go and confront these fucking demonic goblins,
Oh, yeah, they definitely went hard on Neil to try to get try to cut him off from everything. He definitely paid the price. But, mate, I've known him since he was a kid. He has... his heart's in the right place, always has been, and he has some fucking balls the size of the watermelons, that man. Like, he's scared of nothing, And, you've got to respect.
Have to bring him on the show. Like, I'm happy to have him on Thursday if he's around.
Well, Neil, jump on. Look, he's doing his thing at the moment. He's been a bit quiet. He's got a young family, and he's been on the front line for a long time. So I think he's enjoying a bit of time off. But mate, if I know Neil, he won't be quiet for too long. So.
Yeah,
Logan's holding in the chat. He's just released 2 video highlight packages on the Unshackled channel. One from Melbourne's Australia Day People's Parade, and also from the Invasion Day rally. He's asked, "What did Tom Sawyer do?" Well, him and his National Socialist Network mates went on a camping trip at the Grampians where they did Nazi salutes. And also burnt a cross. This is what I was talking about before. Like, Tom Sawyer is a legit Nazi. Just look at his Telegram channel. He's praising Hitler and talking about the Jews. So it's appropriate to call him a Nazi.
Yeah, I don't know much about Tom apart from the fact that like what happened with him and Neil. But I followed his channel for about 3 minutes, I think, when I first seen it. And as soon as I read some of the shit on there, I knew it wasn't for me. But look, he's entitled to his opinion.
Senator Slater sent through another $3 Australian. He said, "Thanks for the kind words, Jared. Checks in the mail," and he spelt checks as CHECKS. So he spelt it wrong. Checks, Senator Slayer, the check that you write is spelled CHEQUE. Yeah, so
you could spell right everything I write, Tim, because it's probably every second word will be spelt wrong.
And mate, you don't have to thank me, brother. I've got nothing but good words to say about you. No thanks needed.
Yeah. I don't know much about this Tom Sawyer guy.
Thomas Sowell is a completely different person. He's a black free market economist over in the US.
Right.
Tom Sowell and Tom Sawyer, 2 completely different people.
Yeah. Didn't that black economist die recently? Is it
that was Walter Williams.
Okay.
Yeah. He's pretty
well, it's the sad thing is like maybe this Tom, the Australian guy, is a bit of a Nazi and he's been pushed down that road, and the the truth is they've treated white Australians like pieces of shit for a very long time, and that's a. If you treat people like shit, eventually people will say "fuck you." Like I grew up in New Zealand, and all the Maori bikie gangs used to have Nazi tattoos. They'd have a swastika right on their forehead, 666 swastika on their forehead, and you know what they didn't. And you know what that was? A big fuck you for society who treated them like pieces of shit. You know what I mean? So
well, they're not using that as a Nazi symbol. They're using that as a war symbol, as a symbol from Thor. So the Nazi symbol was originally inscribed on Thor's hammer. So you know, there's a whole history behind that. Before you know, I'm thinking about getting a big fucking Nazi symbol on my chest just to take it back, because that, you know, my family, my heritage is Norse, so we were, you know, that's the area we come from. So you know, the swastika has had lots of meanings to lots of different people over the years. The Buddhists use it. You know, the Buddhists have it. I'm not sure exactly what it means.
The Hindu. Flip the other way around or something.
Yeah, well, so it's so the fact that it's not like nice, but I don't think they're Maoris that have it on their face using it as white power. I'm pretty sure they're using it as, you know, someone could correct me, but they're using it as a symbol.
It's just
it was a symbol of war.
Fuck you to a society who are fuckheads to you.
Yeah, I'm getting, you know, the helm of war. I'm getting that
the Maori blokes. You know, I'm not saying the Maori blokes or this Tom fella are correct at all, but you know what? I don't fucking, I'm a Christian. I want to make disciples of every nation, and I care about all nations. I care about my nation. I care about my people. But if you treat people like shit long enough, what do you expect? How do you expect people to act? I just think I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, that's, yeah.
Well, I don't think that justifies what he and his NSN buddies are doing up there. I mean, obviously there's a degree of attention seeking in what they're doing. I mean, they also stick up those swastika stickers everywhere, and they obviously like, you know, triggering the likes of the mainstream media and people like Devere Abramovich, but you're not really achieving anything.
Look, to be a white supremacist these days, to be a full-blown neo-Nazi, it's fucking ridiculous. You know, white people are we're the smallest minority of people on earth. We literally are. White people are the smallest minority. What do you want to do? Go back to a white Australia policy? Kick out everybody that's here, or make them second-class citizens to us? Like, that shit don't work. Like you know, there is no, all right, you're black, you go to that bar, we go to a special. Look, what is their plan? You can't kick out the cunts that are here. They're here.
Yeah,
they've been here for generations.
Polynesians are the biggest minority, or Polynesians and Melanesians are the biggest minority on earth. Like,
1 in 3 people are Asian, bro. 1 in 3 people are of Asian descent, and 1 in 5 people live in India.
But you 1 in 3 Asian people, Asia's classified as Middle Eastern, Indian, and Oriental.
So yeah, Japan, China, you know, Vietnam.
India.
I don't think India is classified in that. I think India, because that's to say, I think India and Pakistan and that are classified as fucking, I don't know, Tim, you probably know more than me there.
I don't refer to India and Pakistan as Asia. As Asia. I just refer to it the subcontinent. I think it's really weird that in the UK they call Indians and Pakistanis and Sri Lankans Asians. Like, Asians.
Yeah.
Australia means people from China, Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia.
Yeah, that's right. Singapore, shit like that, yeah. Australia now, basically. But yeah, so 1 in 3 people are Asian and 1 in 5 people live in India. So we have to learn to live with, you know, to have a wide Australian policy. Like, what's Tom's goal? Like, what's he after? Do you know? Do you know what's he calling for?
Well, he'd probably want a return to the white Australia policy, and wouldn't want what he terms miscegenation, which is the whites reproducing with non-whites. And well, we've already covered this, and like, you can't help who you fall in love with. Like, that's been
that ship has sailed. Like,
yeah.
you can't bring this. You can't honestly try to bring the White Australia policy back. If that's his goal, he's wasting his fucking time making himself look like an idiot. That's not going to happen, brother. You know what I mean?
Did we get rid of the White Australia policy? I always thought it was because of the threat of communism. You know what I mean?
No, it was introduced in 1901, like when Australia federated. This is another reason. Like, some people who don't like Australia Day claim that January 1, Federation Day on 1901, should be the new Australia Day. But as Australian Meditations pointed out in his Australia Day article, federation, when Australia became a federation, one of the first policies by the first Prime Minister, Edmund Barton, was the White Australia policy. So you want to change Australia Day to January 1, which ushered in a white Australia policy. I mean, this is where the change the date thing keeps falling over, because there's always going to be, whatever you change it to, there's always going to be something that you don't like about what happened on a particular day or what it led to.
Yeah, and I'll find a reason to be triggered no matter what we do. That's just a current culture. It's just looking for reasons to, you know.
Well, that's right. It's the fucking offended class culture now. Whatever as long as I'm offended and I can look down my nose at everyone else, you know what I mean? You know, like, you're the lower class, you're the Bogan class, you're the people who think and act that way. You know, I always think that it's like Jesus, bro. Jesus was talking against the religious people who were like creating all the rules, and they were controlling and manipulating people. And that was the religion, bro. We're dealing with the same spirit. The same spirit back then is alive today, and it's the political correct spirit. And these people have a fucking never-ending list of rules and do's and don'ts. And they look down their nose at us, and they want to manipulate us and control us. And this is the other fucking all-powerful religious. They have the law. And if we break the holy law, we fucked. You know what I mean? Well, and Jesus was like, nah, that's bullshit. That's all bullshit.
Yeah. And look, for these days, you know, people get attention for being a victim. That's the attention they look for. You know, we used to respect even Jesus, brother. Jesus was strong. So them cunts were in the temple doing what they were doing. He ran in there and flipped them tables over. That was strength. You know, he didn't sit there and play a victim. These days, you get attention for being a victim. You're encouraged to, oh, poor me. Right? What happened to being a fucking man, being strong, you know, having resilience? That's what we used to respect.
Blaming others, your poor choices or disadvantage.
Yeah, people go viral.
Yeah.
People go viral talking shit about other people. You know, people become, why the fuck is a critic a job? You know, how can you get a job actually just criticizing other people? That, you know, it's craziness. Like, people need to worry about what they're doing, and we should start respecting strength again.
We created a whole fucking wing of it in the sociology department, the critical theory. They just criticize everything. They pull everything apart. Oh, family unit. You know, fucking every single thing.
Instead of accomplishing. You know, they should be concerned about accomplishing things, not criticizing things. What can I build? What can I do? Who can I help? You know, that's what people should be worried about. When people start to help other people, things happen in your life to make your life better. But everyone's worried about himself and getting one up and shit. You know, that's even the rap culture now. It's all me. I'm this, I'm that, I'm a sick cunt, rah, rah, rah. What happened to helping people? What happened to, you know? That's what makes me feel good. When I help people, I feel happy. You know, when I worry about what the fuck,
it does feel good. You never lose a thing. Like I was saying, me and the missus volunteered all these hours. Like I was saying earlier. Do you know I never lost a thing, dude? Do you know I only ever gained? I only became a better person. I actually became richer and wealthier, and because my life, I wasn't out spending my money at the pub or at the casino or fucking around doing dumb shit. The money was building up in my bank account. I didn't have time to spend it, bro.
Yeah,
I was chilling with my boys, doing young free stuff. We were just doing stuff that was free. You know what I mean? Because you can't pay to have 100 teenagers doing these things on a Friday night and all these nights. You have to come up, be inventive to make fun, cool stuff. So you're just doing it. You can't shout everyone's stuff, so you just make it happen on the cheap. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, shit, I got all this money now because I didn't spend it all. Or like there's all these benefits that happen just by, or I've got to mature myself. I got to go through, see myself in other people's shoes and become a better man. You know what I mean? Me and my wife got to learn perseverance, to be committed to something and rocking up and doing it, even though you're sick and tired, even though there's dramas going on, and you stay committed and you build it up. And like you give something away or you help someone and you never lose a thing. You know what I mean? And it's not to say to people like guilt trip anyone into it or boast how good I am. I'm not saying that. But the truth is, you give $1 or give an hour and you benefit from it more than that hour or dollar could earn you or you could purchase with it. It's a strange and amazing thing, but it's true.
Yeah, and look, I believe that. I believe that in life, just in general, outside of God, outside of Christianity. I think that, you know, if you do good, good comes back to you. And power of your mind. Yeah, and so positive thinking. You know, people. So our language has been dumbed down so much these days. Our dictionaries have been altered so much that we can no longer express ourselves properly. We don't have the scope of language to be able to do that. But the power of our mind, you know, we're taught that we're fucking low, we're this, we're that, we're put down, we're demoralized. We're not told how fucking amazing we are and how much we can accomplish just with your power of thought. Just believing something makes it true. And I live my life like that, and everybody around me trips the fuck out. You know what I mean? We move forward, we progress. Things happen for us because we believe they will happen. You know, I bought 2 gyms in 2 weeks, 2 good gyms, 2 very well-known gyms, because we believed we would. You know what I mean? Our foundation is taking off because we believed it would. You know, it's effort and work, but it's also belief. And you know, I think that goes into your life.
If you didn't believe in it, you wouldn't have done it. You know,
and then just believing it will work. And so what we've done with the foundation, because we partnered with Gateway Church to donate and stuff, the first money we made, so we put everything into this stuff. We've been setting this up for months. We've invested lots of money. You know, not just me, my partners also, in setting up our gyms, So the first $1 we made, we gave away, the very first. So we decided to start our business giving, because that's what we want to do. So we donated all the money to Africa. That's where it's going. It's going to these kids in Africa, and we're going to do that every month. You know, so we're not even taking a profit yet. We're running our services for free, and we're giving the money away from the things that they make. So at the moment, we're operating at a loss by choice, because we're not taking anything, because we honestly believe that if we give, we will receive. You know, outside, like, this is no Christian shit. Like, I don't even know if I'm a Christian again or not. I haven't decided about church. But just in general life, if you give, you will receive. So that's what we're doing. You know, we're making sure that we give away before we try to take it. And I think that will come back to us later on. If it doesn't, fuck it. You know what I mean? Shit happens. We gave away. You know, my kids are fed. We're happy. We have everything we need. So, you know, giving makes us feel good. And it starts our business on the right track. You know, our business is there to help others, so that's what it's doing. You know, and I think if more people can do that, it will be fucking a much better place.
Yeah, good on you. We've got another super chat from Senator Slayer for $3 He's actually got some breaking news. Dan Andrews bans camping of more than 2 men at one time under COVID directive. So I guess that means, well, if you're only allowed 2 men camping, only Brokeback Mountain camping is allowed. If I read that directive correctly, you can still have unlimited women on a camping.
Well, that's all that matters. 2 men and unlimited women. It sounds like a good time. I hope that is that a true statement? Is that real?
Sorry, I'm in the comments section. I'm not paying attention.
I have no access to the comments, so I can't see any of them.
The state of emergency in Victoria expires, I think, tomorrow. It's going to be renewed for however many more weeks because there's still the Dan Andrews says COVID is lurking. We've got to protect what we have is fragile and precious. The kids are starting to go back to school now, and even though the high school students are not forced to wear masks by the government now, some high schools are taking it upon themselves to force students to wear masks in the classrooms, which is absolutely disgusting
and illegal.
That's retarded.
They can't. Yeah, they cannot force kids to do that. That's that's completely illegal.
They're taking it upon themselves, basically wanting to be the health heroes or whatever.
Yeah, these kids need to learn to stand up for their rights. It's a fucking training ground. I'll never send my children to school. Never.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most disturbing thing about the cultural masking. We call it now, is that they seem to be wanting to normalize it forever and making, like, imagine your first day of high school, like you're forced to wear a mask. Like, how's that meant to make you feel sociable and comfortable?
Yeah,
it's just retarded.
Yeah, it's not good at all. And we're in, like, it's summer. Who's fucking sick? Is anyone even getting tested for COVID anymore?
Well,
I got the flu and I just got over it in 2 days or
that's what
it
you
was.
do. Yeah, everyone gets a fucking cold every now and then. Look, I reckon the test might go up once this anal swab comes out, though. They might get a big rush at the line.
Rush the line, mate.
Yeah, I'll get all the boys from my chat. All right, boys, chapter meeting. We're going for our anal swab.
We're all going, mate. We're all fucking lining up.
We'll all swab each other.
Free STD check as well while we're there.
The reason why I refer to it as an anal probe is, well, the COVID testers, they're basically dressed like aliens. So it's like you're getting an anal probe from an alien, given the way that they're dressed.
That'd definitely have its highs and its lows, that job, wouldn't it? There'd be some customers you'd be like, yeah, all right. And then there'd be some rotten fucking, It'd definitely have its ups and downs.
Well, some people, it's their full-time jobs at colonoscopy clinics. That's a tongue twister. Colonoscopy. So their job is to stick cameras up people's anuses.
They love it, mate, all day.
Mate, I have 3 kids. I think I've changed like 3 pooey nappies the whole time. Or shitty nappies. I say pooey because I have kids, yeah. So I do not change nappies. Like, I can't. I abuse the kids while I'm changing it. I'll say, "Oh, you dirty little shit! Why are you going to that?" So my wife does all that. It works well because my wife seems to have some weird fucking thing with snot. She cannot touch snot. She hates it. I have snotty kids. So she constantly says, "Go to your dad," and I wipe their face. But when it comes to nappies, she does it. If I can't even be in the room, I cannot stand it. So that's definitely
somehow I fucking blocked Born Nordic from the chat. I didn't mean to. I just booted a few dudes from the chat. Sorry, didn't mean to do it. Born Nod Knock. I blocked him. I don't know how to unblock you. Sorry, mate. I'm sure you're still able to watch. I was like, fuck. It's a Queensland president. I just blocked him from my own bloody live.
The reason why we were late is because of Boomer Tech. You were having headphone difficulties. Me and Jared could hear each other perfectly, but you couldn't hear us. The audience could hear all of us, just you couldn't. There's that times when I just bite my tongue and I was just like, ugh.
You know how to unblock someone, Tim?
Now he's blocking people, Tim. No, don't worry about the headphones. Now he's blocking presidents, mate.
Learn it, you friggin' self.
You gotta teach me, mate. You come on here to fucking keep me in
mind. I'm channeling your wife.
You're not just here for your good looks, Tim.
Boys, I reckon we'll wrap it up, eh?
Yeah,
mate.
Yeah, so
Dinner.
yeah, we've got, or as we said at the beginning of the show, our new show on Monday, 8:30 p.m. Melbourne time or Victorian time on the Unshackled's YouTube channel, the Brawler and the Brain. You have to. It's left to your own interpretation. Who's the Brawler and who's the Brain?
And we're having Nick Patterson on as our first guest. I'll be streaming live from our new gym. So Nick will be there on our first show with me. So, yeah, make sure you tune in. It should be a good show. We've got a lot of good guests coming up. A few ex-AFL players, a lot of Army blokes. We got a lot of people. So it should be a good show. Yeah, make sure you tune in.
Yeah, the theme of the show is going to be promoting freedom and promoting healthy communities.
And a healthy lifestyle. Make sure we're getting that nutrition in and boosting testosterone levels. Plus, me and Tim will probably, debate a lot. I'd say Tim likes to pull me up when I talk too much shit. So that's good. I need someone to pull me in line every now and then.
I should just respond to a lot of what you say as like, yeah, you're dreaming. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, but we'll see how many times I prove Tim wrong. We're gonna start a little chart. So we'll have a Jazz is right, Tim is right chart, and we'll see which way it goes. I'm pretty sure it'll lean heavily my way, but we'll see what happens.
You'll be like Alex Jones, bro. 5 years time, they'll all end up being you're all right. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm definitely like Alex Jones, where I'm going to be fucking shooting off about flat Earth and shit like that. So, yeah, I'll definitely got
fucking alfoil on, bro. When I tune in,
mate. I could take you to a room in my house that has an alfoil wall. We have a smart meter on one side of the wall, and I literally fucking put alfoil completely over. It used to be my kids' room, and so if you stand in front of a smart meter and you get a heat sensor, some people like your body completely disappears in the fucking radiation that comes out of the smart meter. So it's something like 160 mobile phones, constant bush. It just pulses and releases this radioactive wave, which is fucking terrible for you. So my kids were sleeping right next to it. So we completely blocked it because alfoil, regardless of what they say, literally does. Like if you wrap your phone in alfoil, you won't get service. It's the same as a Faraday bag. So it literally deflects the wave. So anybody who's got a smart meter on their house, just line your wall with fucking alfoil. You'll be right.
Hey, Jared, would my new 5G phone, would the alpha work on that?
It would, Tim, but I tell you what, when you come to my house next, you have to leave that phone in the car, buddy.
I've had it for a few weeks now. I feel absolutely fine.
Yeah, it takes about 2 years to start noticing effects at these levels that they have currently at the moment. The effects won't take place for about 2 years, allegedly. So in 2 years, when Tim's sitting there like this, trying to do our podcast, well, then we'll start the... It wasn't the 5G. It was the COVID vaccine.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, you're more than welcome to come on any Friday. Jazz, I know you're a busy man. And Tim, you'll be joining me next week.
Thursday or Friday?
Thursdays.
Thursday.
Yeah, mate, I'll jump on when I can, definitely.
Queensland's not a day ahead of Victoria.
And you'll have to come on ours, Dusty. We'll get you on our show. Yeah, we'll get a chance.
Cool. Sounds bloody great.
Everyone,
all right, guys, thanks everyone tuning in. And we'll
8:30
next week.
Monday night, 8:30. See you there.
There you go. Bang.